Welcome or welcome back to my channel, Healing with Kiara. We have a love reading today, so we're just taking a general look. The energy for the viewer already came out with the King of Wands, the female King of Wands. We have the Eight of Cups on the bottom. The other person, we have the Nine of Wands, the Five of Wands, and then another card came out. So I just took all of them. Oops. So we just had the Three of Cups fall on the floor and go in the reverse from the bottom of the deck. So we could, what I'm getting is like, if you went through a third party situation recently, either the other party or your person is walking away. Like, okay, the other person coming through could be someone that you never pictured or imagined yourself communicating with again. Like there's some sort of wall between you, and now there's like some sort of opening being created that you either didn't see possible or you just like didn't see it coming. Like you never thought you would ever connect with this person again. Like the other direction that they went in, like they could have started a family with someone, or it was like influenced by their family to go in another choice. So you just thought that that was like very solidified and they were like starting their new story. Yeah, they went in some other direction, but there's been like a shift. Something has happened here that you did not expect and you did not see coming. So now there's been like an opening created, or they're coming in your direction in a really unexpected way. So something was fumbled, like in the other relationship, something fell apart. Hey, buddy, brother, just lay down, okay, buddy? Just chill. You can hang out with us. Just lay down, okay? Okay. My male cat wants some attention, so give him a scratch. Okay. Hang on, buddy. Here, come here. Come sit with me. Okay. So, yeah, like I said, something fell apart or was fumbled, or there was some sort of influence. So, like with this card here, you can see there's this one person holding on to two of these here. And then there's someone who's kind of just like going along with it. So this person has their own, whereas this person is hanging on to both of these, and we have this person just kind of like going with it. So someone woke up and realized that it was like not in their best interest, or they're being influenced to accept less or to go along with like what other people wanted, or suddenly feeling very limited and things like falling apart, feeling like you have a secure hold over another person and it just not going the way that you had imagined. Things are not just like going well and flowing. It's like influencing someone into something and then thinking they would be happier that way, or that they would just go along with it and it would benefit their life, but it's like not actually going well or turning out well, or like then in reality things are actually kind of falling apart. So one or both parties is realizing it would be best to like remove themselves, or like I'm hearing like remove themselves before they get like too solidified or too deep to where then they can't. There's like a sense of loneliness, like someone feels like the odd man out and they see like all of this happiness and all of these pairs all around them. It's like people feeling so happy and content and satisfied and like they're with their person or they're right where they're supposed to be. And it's like someone kind of waking up and realizing they're never going to get what they had wanted out of this, or it's never going to go in that direction. It's just like not flowing. Like someone feels like they've maybe been forcing it and so they're ready to walk away, or the other person feels like they've been manipulated into something or forced into something and it's not truly in alignment with them, so they have to kind of go in their own direction. So with our viewers here showing up as this female King of Wands, um, the viewer could have been the person who had some sort of influence, like someone that you really looked up to or admired that had a heavy influence, someone that you kind of emotionally depended on or helped to take care of you. But they were in a very feminine energy of like being very jealous and feeling like they needed to be very protective or like influence you to be very protective. So it's like whatever power they had over you or whatever power they had previously is kind of starting to fall apart. So you could be the one on the bottom of the deck that feels as though you need to kind of walk away or remove yourself in order to find like your people who are like you, or your person who's going to be similar to you and really in alignment with you, instead of kind of going along with what other people wanted. Or you could have made a lot of choices and decisions in the past to please others, or being like more concerned about other people's feelings than your own, like doing things for the sake of others without really considering yourself. And now that's just not working out. It's like your life is falling apart. You can't really force it. With the other party, get our last card. So we have the Five of Wands, the Queen of Pentacles, and the Nine of Wands. So I'm really getting a message here of like someone kind of like picking things up and moving things around and like orchestrating it to be different. So this other party showing up here could have been the one somewhat manipulating you. Um, like they're somehow participating in, I'm just getting this energy of like, say you have like a family member around you that wants to kind of control you, so then it's like they want you to be with this specific person so they feel secure that they have a sense of control over you. And like this other person here is like that person, like the one that some influence in your life like maybe wanted you to be with a specific person in a specific relationship, or like doing something specific, so they felt like they had some sense of control over your life. And so this is the person that they approve for you to be with, like someone who's very independent, someone that they viewed as like self-sufficient, like they could kind of take care of themselves so they wouldn't overly rely on you. So someone around you could have wanted you to stay like dependent on them, so they didn't want you to like step up and be that like provider person, so they wanted you to be with someone that was already kind of independent on their own so that you wouldn't have to like come together and do certain things together, so there wouldn't be like reliant on each other and like leaving them out. So they felt very like jealous, insecure, left out, or like triggered by you connecting with someone who was very in alignment with you, or that they felt like was going to like offer all of those things. Or like you could have had someone in your past that you matched with very well very quickly, and then that made someone around you very insecure or threatened, like feeling like they were going to lose some place in your life. And so you could have made certain choices and decisions not realizing you were being like influenced to kind of go along with something. um it was like, okay, my family, like this works with my family, or my family approves of this more. Or it could have been like friends, or where you work, just people around you in some way that you like depended on or relied upon, and they benefited from that, or they liked you being more dependent on them, and like you kind of growing up and going out on your own with someone else really intimidated them or scared them. It just brought out a side to them that's very calculated and overly concerned about like their own interests. um, so yeah, just kind of like a toxic side maybe came out, and you're starting to see or realize why they were so driven towards like you being with the specific person or the specific type of person. There could have been a lot in alignment to start, because this is someone who's been, so there's two people showing up. There's like the person from your past that there was like a wall between you, and you never thought that you would like connect with them again, or they could have thought that like you went in this other direction and were perfectly happy, but it's like they couldn't see things going on behind the scenes, or just like things coming out in this system, changes happening to kind of reveal people's like true intentions and their true motives, right? So there's like someone from the past that you maybe never thought that you would reconnect with, but now there's like a shift in perspective, and this is not feeling right with this person. So you're feeling like you need to remove yourself and walk away. It's like you don't, you feel like it's not just you and this person, it's like you, this person, and someone else like kind of controlling the relationship, or someone else is like so involved that there can't be this like pair energy of like you two going out on your own and figuring it out together. It's like there's just something missing here. But this person that was like more approved of by people around you, at first it may have seemed very in alignment. They could have had a very similar journey to you, like you've both been through certain things, overcame certain things, like you saw how far they had to work to get where they are in their life. There was like a lot of respect for their drive, being a very hardworking person, very independent, self-sufficient. Again, it's like they've come really far and had to overcome a lot of things, but it's like they've come so far just to kind of like stay there. Like that person could be in kind of like a standstill, or like they've been very hurt in the past, and they have, it's like they've gotten to the point where they can take care of themselves, but they don't feel fully safe to like open up and be vulnerable. Or once you start to get more open and deeper with this person, there's a lot more to them, it's like there could be something where they're not quite ready to like move into that next phase and then release all the things that they need to release in order to come together and have that partnership that you desire. Or they could just be so used to being on their own, being independent in a lot of ways. It's like they're not interested in fully meshing and blending their life in certain ways. So you're starting to realize, like, okay, um, maybe certain people do approve of this relationship more because I'm never gonna quite get to this certain place that I want to be in that relationship. So it kind of keeps me in this certain place that I don't want to be in. But it's like waking up to realize there could have been an influence around you that did want you to be in that certain place and kind of stay in that certain place, as hard as that is to accept, because it could be someone that you care very deeply about, um, like a parental figure or someone that you looked up to like in that way, or someone that you had a lot of admiration and respect for. You really cared about their opinion, um, their influence, or it's like you wanted to be very close with them, whereas that person wanted to keep a like direct control or influence over your life. So they only approved of you like having certain jobs or being in certain relationships or doing certain things that kept you in a position where they felt like they still had that sense of authority or control, or that you would still look to them and like need them or rely on them. They didn't like the idea of you like fully breaking off and going out on your own with another person. But deep down, that's like the thing that you crave or desire the most, to have a relationship like that. So, very specific energy coming through here. Yeah. So, as much as you do care for this other person, there's this sense of just like knowing that it is falling apart. Something is really, it's just not working out as much as everyone would have thought that it would, or as much as you'd like to just go along with it and pretend that you're happy. There's like things happening that you can't just ignore. So it's like as much as you want to cling to this or hang on to it emotionally, there's this overwhelming feeling of feeling like there's more out there. There's got to be more to life than this, feeling like you could have more, be doing more, be experiencing more in your life, be farther along in your life. It's just very unfulfilled. It's like getting everything you ever wanted and realizing that maybe wasn't your dream. That was maybe someone else's dream that you have just been hanging on to because you felt like you needed to be this certain person or live up to these certain expectations, or you wanted to make the people around you but really happy. But realizing if you continue to hang on to that or try and force it, it's going to then destroy you or like affect you. It's like if you can't like let go and release yourself from certain things that aren't working out, it's going to end up really hurting you, or you're going to like lose your chance or miss out on your chance to just have more, have something different, experience something different. This overwhelming feeling of like, if I don't jump right now, I'm either going to get really hurt, or in the long run, like knowing I miss certain opportunities is going to really hurt. Um, there's just something else that you maybe don't even know what it is exactly, but you're just craving like something else, or like blending, merging your life with something else, experiencing something else, going somewhere else in your life. So you could have been really caught up in your head for a long time. Like anytime you start to have these thoughts, then this other voice that was created through like influence around you comes up and is like, it's like a lot of self-doubt, or like all the reasons why you can't have what you would really like in a relationship, or just like this delusion trying to kind of convince you that this is exactly what you wanted and you're really happy with it. whenever deep down you know that it's like not fulfilling you. So there's a lot of like back and forth. Um, but whenever you're kind of gaslit, or like when the people around you kind of try to convince you of certain things, it can be hard to like break out of that reality and figure out like what is you, and like what really makes sense to you, and what would really make you happy and fulfill you outside of what everyone else has always told you would make you happy and fulfill you. So it seems like you've kind of been back and forth going through that. um, and through this process you maybe haven't been like fully upfront and transparent and clear. Like you maybe kept a lot of that internal struggle to yourself and just tried to put on like a brave face, um, not being just like fully transparent and open with like how conflicted you felt. Whereas the other person here can still feel that and understand that. Like they're starting to feel as though things are falling apart as well, or that they can see that certain things are starting to happen, like certain little things are starting to happen that are like adding up to them, to where they're feeling overall kind of disappointed as well. Whereas like before they're maybe really excited, um, but now they're starting to feel like all the little things that don't work are maybe starting to add up more than like the potential and what is working. Like they're starting to have that reality check of thinking like, okay, maybe they aren't fully happy, content, satisfied. Like maybe they'd be better somewhere else. Maybe I'd be better somewhere else. They can see that you have this like longing, or as much as you felt like you've hidden this struggle, like you maybe just kept it in the back of your mind and put on a brave face. It's like they can kind of feel this like fake energy, and they can still sense this internal struggle that you've been having behind the scenes. And so there's a lot of like happy moments, where you try to like put on a good show and to still give them like a good positive experience, where they could like sense something was wrong or something was off, and so they're like disappointed with how that went, even though it was a good day or a positive experience or memory, etc. And those moments where it was like they could just sense that you weren't fully there, or that you were just doing it for them, or etc., it's like starting to add up and outweigh like the genuine happy good memories that you have together. So they're being able to sense things being off with you is just starting to become overwhelming, or like outweigh the genuine good in the relationship, if that makes sense. Like they can't really hide it or ignore it. They're starting to see really what is not working, or why certain things are falling apart. So in the past you could have like recently gotten into some sort of fight or had some sort of conflict or altercation where you actually got really vulnerable and raw and were more honest with each other for the first time. Like you really got to see each other more authentically on an emotional level, maybe for the first time. It like created clarity that also then created more conflict, because it made it so apparent how moving forward was just so out of alignment with each of you. Like in order to come together and like mesh your worlds together, it's like so different. One of you would have to make like an extreme sacrifice, right? Like bringing a fish out of water. It's like it, there's just no, I'm seeing like there's no way for like a fish to fully connect with the human, because the fish would either have to come out of the water and lose like what it vitally needs to survive, or the human would have to go into the water and then like become overwhelmed and consumed with what the fish needs. And either way, like the fish isn't going to survive, in the human environment, and the human's not going to survive in the fish environment. And so it's like you can fake it or make it work for so long, but eventually you are not ever going to be able to like fully merge or blend your worlds together. So it's like the more transparent and open that you've gotten in the recent past, it's just shining a light on how impossible it really would be to move forward in the ways that you both each need, fulfilling each of your needs completely individually moving forward. It's like you kind of came to a mutual understanding that you're not going to be able to do that or have that. So there's this clarity that um it's just leading to, like, instead of merging together, you're naturally merging apart or like going in different directions. But it could have been sped up by, like, you got to this understanding quicker by like some sort of fight or altercation in the past, where then there either one of you or both of you got more like open and transparent than you have been. Maybe the other person like finally opened up and was just like more honest about where they're at and like what they're starting to notice and understand. And it helped you to like, once you go to the people around you and try and communicate this, there's something that you could have seen to where now you're understanding like how influenced you were to go in this direction. So the cycle that you've been in here is just naturally coming to an end. I'm just really seeing like you and another person, this other person here, just really naturally going in your own directions. I'm hearing there's like heavy Pisces energy. Um, we are in Pisces season at the time I'm filming this in tropical astrology, but yeah, I'm just getting like heavy Pisces energy. Like one or both of you could be Pisces. Like this person here could have like a heavy Pisces energy, or you have a heavy Pisces energy and they are struggling to mesh with like both sides of who you are. Or there's something where like one um, side of who you are, or one part of who you are is like not being fulfilled, or you're not getting your needs met in this core way that this other person isn't going to be able to give you. It could be vice versa too. The other person could be starting to realize like they're missing certain things, or certain needs that they have are not being met in the way they need to. So it could be like a very mutual understanding that you're coming to here. But then there's going to be like someone around you that maybe it's like you and this other person are starting to come to this realization that this may be for the best. But then whoever this other person is that has been so involved is like maybe going to be the most disappointed or the most upset. But there's an opening, there's some sort of opening in your life that wasn't there previously for you to be able to go in a direction that wasn't open to you in the past. So you have the tools to make a different choice now, um, or the with more knowledge, more understanding, more experience. um, like you have everything that you need to be able to then go and get exactly what you want. I'm seeing like you could want like a more stable traditional family, to be like more tied down and grounded. You just want to feel very like secure in a relationship. Um, Maybe you weren't as open and transparent as you needed to be in order to let this other person know, like maybe you want to like settle down and have more of a traditional family and have kids. And this other person is like came to a place in their life where they're not ready to let go of certain things in their lifestyle or certain things about the way they operate in order to settle down and have that more traditional dynamic. So you just don't feel fully fulfilled and connected, or you just don't feel like the relationship is where it could be if you were with someone who wanted something more similar to you. Again, with this other person, it's like they've come so far in their life, and so you could have met them at a point where they were like not doing a lot of work on themselves, and so your perspective was okay, like they've worked on themselves and they've come so far, and now they're just focused on like building themselves up and taking care of themselves, and so you thought they were maybe taking a pause or a break, and then they would like continue to push forward or continue to go in this certain direction, whereas they're actually kind of content with where they're at, and they maybe don't want to add more, or they don't want to change like the way that they do things. Like they're very comfortable with a lot of the dynamics in their life. They're very independent. um, they figured out a way to like work through things or get like work for themselves or some. You're definitely hearing like work for themselves in order to sustain themselves or take care of themselves, and they're not really willing to like compromise that or give that up or make themselves dependent or reliant on you or anyone. Like they're just not. But maybe you just didn't see that they weren't going to go in that direction. There's other things about their life that made it seem like they would have eventually wanted the same things as you. But again, I feel like there's someone around you who like had a higher perspective in the situation, is maybe older and wiser, and could clearly see that this person was never going to like settle down or never going to want to like be a stay-at-home mom, for example, or just something more like traditional, if that makes sense. Like they could just clearly see this person was never going to like fit into these certain things that they know that you actually want, and so that's why they were so excited about this relationship and like influenced so much to like have you kind of choose this direction, um, because they're scared to like have you settle down like that or be so committed in your life. So I know that, yeah, that's really uncomfortable to hear, and that's really specific, but that is the energy that I'm getting and that I'm picking up on. There's definitely someone else around you that could just very clearly see that this person, even though they're very independent and there's all these things, there's all these really good boxes that they check, that they were just like never going to settle down like that, or never going to want those exact specific things. But they thought that you wouldn't get to that crossroads, or that wouldn't come to a head until like much later. Um, they thought things would like take longer to get to a point where you felt like unfulfilled or like you needed more. It's like they always knew this wasn't necessarily going to be your forever person, but they felt like it was the right person for you to be with at that time because it gave them like more access to you in your life. Like they weren't losing you quite yet. But it's like, yeah, they maybe knew that it would fall apart eventually, or that you wouldn't be in alignment with each other in the long run or something. So, really interesting, odd energy. In the future, there's going to be a lot more movement if you've been kind of going back and forth and really taking your time to like think this through and figure out like what's best for you. It's like you're going to feel ready to take action. The cycle is kind of ending currently, and then moving forward, you're going to feel more ready to take action, to make a move, go in another direction, communicate yourself clearly, do something that's very solidified. Whereas before, there was a lot of like back and forth energy, or trying to figure out like exactly what was going on, um, trying to see through like the games. This other person could have been playing games with you as well. Um, this other person, though, could play really similar games than whoever this person was that has so much influence over you. So that's why you were like unconsciously drawn to them partially. it's like similar games to what you're familiar to. So you maybe needed to go through this connection with this person in order to like better understand those types of games or that type of a relationship. And then it gives you the clarity to see like family members or friends or coworkers or people around you who then play those same games. It's like now that you went through it with a partner, then you can more clearly identify that and see it in your dynamics and your relationships, and help you to kind of like remove yourself from toxic things or people who are influencing you in a way that benefits them. Or it's like you'll no longer be so, this gave you like the clarity that you needed to like not be as much of a people pleaser or to not be so overly concerned about pleasing others, making other people happy, like doing what other people want to the point where you're like completely sacrificing yourself. Before you maybe saw that as like a good quality to have, or like that was like the more mature way to handle things or go about things. But now you can see like the game behind it and how people will kind of influence you to think that that is like the better thing to do because it benefits them to keep you in that position in your life. But it's really hard to see the people around you in such an authentic, transparent light, or to just see so clearly like what's going on. But then sometimes when we go through it in our romantic relationships, it makes it easier to understand that because that's someone that we really love and care for will obviously sit there and play those towards types of games with us. It just makes it a little bit easier to understand or to realize that maybe other people in our life are doing those same things. So sometimes, yeah, we need like unique experiences in order to be able to grow and move forward in ways that we could have been stuck in our life in a long time and not even realized how much we were giving our power away to others. So in the extended, we're going to look into, there's another person here, like on the bottom of the deck, there's some sort of opening to like go back to a past connection, something that you, someone that you never thought you would connect with again, or something that you never saw coming. There's like a twist in fate here, or like some sort of shift happening. So in the extended, we're going to look into that energy, and we're unless anything else comes through, we're just going to be done with this here. And we're going to look into this other person coming through from your past, like someone that you maybe walked away from in the past, or say you like when you chose this person or got into this relationship, if you specifically chose them over someone else, um, you could be really thinking about that person or just feeling like you made a mistake at some point in the past, not choosing something that would have made you really happy. So there's definitely that energy coming through on the bottom of the deck. So we're going to look into that. We're going to take a deeper look into that in the extended and get messages from that person using the Hermit Tarot. If you watch this far into the reading, I really, really appreciate it. And I hope that you have a really great day.